So let's go after an approach and a process that will work. What we want to talk about first, some very basics. This is what Levitt said years ago. People don't buy a quarter-inch drill, they're buying a quarter-inch hole. And what he means is they buy products to get jobs done. How many of you have heard this terminology? Just about all of you. Clayton Christensen's been talking about this for the last number of years as well. We have been pushing this for about 5 years. And it really goes back to this basic, that people buy products to get jobs done. They buy that drill to make a hole in wood. Interventional cardiologists buy stents to open up arteries. All of us who participate in banking hire ATMs, if you will, to access our savings. And I hire this little device here so I can advance slides during a presentation. And again, this has been made very popular. Clayton Christensen talks about this in his Innovative Solution book and other materials as well, one of which is in that package on your desk. And so this has become pretty common. But what he said is that the job, not the customer, is the fundamental unit of analysis when it comes to innovation. And if you want to create new products, you have to understand the job the customer is trying to get done. Now, we're going to take that to great lengths. Now, if that is true, let's start focusing on the job the customer is trying to get done. And what we've discovered over the years of doing this is that a job is just like a process. Think of it the same way. Has anyone done business process improvement in their companies? All right, so you'll follow this pretty closely then. When you're starting to learn about a process, you break it down into its steps, and you have to figure out what you need to measure and control along every step of the way to help get that job done perfectly. Now, we're saying the same thing is true here. People are executing jobs. These jobs can be broken down into process steps. And as you look at each of those discrete steps, you can understand what it is they're trying to get done. Now, what makes this very different than a process map, if you've done process mapping, we're not laying out what customers are doing. We're laying out what they're trying to do. There's a big difference. What they're doing is they're using solutions. Like an anesthesiologist might be checking the monitor. Well, what they're really doing is monitoring the patient's vital signs. That's what they're doing. That's what they're trying to do. What they're doing is just checking the monitor. And we're trying to get past what they're doing and understand truly what they're trying to get done. And we call this a job map. This is a subject of an article that we published in Harvard Business Review. It's in that packet, that thicker packet that you have there of 3 articles. It's called the Customer-Centered Innovation Map. It goes into great detail as to why this job map is important. But I'll just cover some highlights here. In order for us to know all the customer's needs, we need to bound the scope of what we're looking at. And what we've discovered is that using this job map, we can figure out that this process has discrete steps. It has a beginning and an end. And if we can analyze this job and understand its beginning and end points and every step in between, and get requirements, if you will, on every step along the way, that we will now know when we have all our unmet needs, or all our needs. The other big benefit of this is that we can discover the optimal sequence in which the process should be executed. What we found in a lot of cases is that products are designed to help get parts of a job done, but not the whole job done. And if you can understand the whole job, it opens up the door to a tremendous amount of new opportunity for innovation. Because, of course, customers are buying products to get a whole job done. They didn't hire a product to get part of a job done. But if the company doesn't look at it that way, they'll often put out solutions that are suboptimal. And thirdly, to find opportunities at each process step along the way, which will be the unmet needs. So I'm going to go into this in detail. These jobs, we've laid out so many jobs over the past number of years. A couple of years ago, we came up with a universal structure for a job. And what we found is no matter what the job is, whether it's an interventional cardiologist performing a surgical procedure, or whether it's one of you brushing your teeth in the morning, or whether it's mowing the lawn, or whether it's advancing through slides, there's a set of steps that customers go through. There's a definition stage. This is where they start planning what it is they're trying to get done. Then they start locating all the inputs, gathering, accessing the materials, the inputs, the information that they need to execute the job. Then there's a preparation stage where they start setting everything up. They're organizing the inputs now in such a fashion where the job becomes executable. Before they execute it, there's a confirmation stage to make sure everything's actually set up in such a way that the job will be executed effectively. Then there's an execution phase where if you're performing the actual task, the critical job that you've hired the product to perform. Next, there's a monitoring phase where you're monitoring the performance of the job to make sure it's getting done correctly. And if it is, fine. If not, there's a modification phase where you're modifying what you were doing in order to make sure the job is done effectively. And lastly, conclude. Put everything away, store, finish up, and that sort of thing.